guys! Okay, so we're ready for our skills lesson, and today we're going to warm up by chaining with our new ooh sound because someone's in trouble. Ooh. So yes, let's make a chain using the ooh sound. Ooh. All right, so we're going to start with the word. Not that color. Hoot. Our first word will be hoot. So, oot. Hoot. Remember the two O's? One sound. Another vowel diagram. From hoot to root. From hoot to root. What did I change? The beginning, the middle, or the end? From oot to oot. I changed the beginning. Hoot to root. Good job. All right, let's do another one. Hoot, root. Next, I want shoot. I want shoot next. From root to shoot. What change did I make? I changed the beginning sound. I changed the r to the sound sh. So, sh, a consonant diagram. Ooh, shoot. From shoot to boot. From shoot to boot. We're changing the beginning sound again. Shoot to boot. Boot to boom. Boot to boom. What am I changing now? The ending sound. Good. I'm changing the ending sound from t to from boot to boom. All right, now let's go from boom to booth. From boom to booth. Where's my change? At the ending, good. From boom to booth. Still ooh, but now it's another diagram, a consonant diagram. So 2 letters, 1 sound. Booth to tooth. I lost a tooth. Well, I didn't. I hope I didn't. I already got all my baby teeth out. But you might have lost a tooth. What did we change? From booth, the beginning sound. We went from b to t. So t. Ooh. Tooth. From tooth to tooth. That's the number 2, but like me too, like also. From tooth to tooth. What change am I making? Good, I'm going from 3 sounds to 2 sounds. So I'm changing it by removing a whole sound. From tooth to ooh. Tooth. Remember we told the ooh spelling O-O can be in the middle or the end. We said ooze was an exception with at the beginning. We don't have I don't think any more words we learned in 1st grade that have the ooh at the beginning. So middle and end. And last one, from to moo. We're changing the beginning. To moo. Let's read our chain. Hoot, root, shoot, boot, booth. Why you keep letting me just read stuff? Hoot, root, shoot, boot, boom, booth, tooth, to, moo. Excellent, excellent. Good job, guys. All right, we're all warmed up. Get those oohs fresh in our brain. Now, I want to introduce you to a friend of mine, a writer friend of mine. Yes, he loves to write. And I'll introduce you to him as soon as I find the button. Found the button. All right, my writer friend's name is Mr. Mouse. Mr. Mouse, and Mr. Mouse needs our help editing. So that's the next step, editing his paper. So if planning was thinking and drafting is writing, What does it mean to edit? What does it mean when you edit your work? Take a look at the picture and think about it for a second. What does it mean to edit your work? To make changes. Good. Yes, to make changes. When we edit, that's when we do our proofreading. That's when we go through and make sure that we've got capital letters where they belong. That's when we make sure we have ending punctuation, your periods, your question marks, your exclamation points. That's when we make sure words are spelled correctly. So yes, that is when we do this step. This is when we edit or make changes to our writing. All right, so this is my friend, Mr. Mouse. And this is his draft of King Log and King Crane. So we're going to go through and we're going to read it and we're going to edit it or make changes where he has made some errors. So starting with the type, so certain things should definitely be there. The first of which is the name. We need to have the name of the tale. Do we have a name and a title? We do. Okay, we got that. So let's check that off. Let's check the spelling. King Log and King Crane. Looks good. All right. As we're reading, we need to make sure we can answer the questions where, who, and what. We need to make sure we're able to answer the questions where, who, and what. So let's read through one time before we make any changes. All right. Once there were lots of frogs in a pond. The frogs said to the gods, "We need a king." The gods sent a log to the frogs. The log sat and sat. The frogs said to the gods, "This log is a bad king." The gods sent a crane to the frogs. The crane ran and ate the frogs. The frogs said, "We want King Log back. King Crane is bad." The gods were made. They said, "No, you keep King Crane." The frogs were sad. The end. Okay. So, can we answer those questions? Do we know who? Yes, so for who, answering the question who, check. Do we know where? Told us we were in a pond. That gets a check. Do we know what happened? Yes, we can answer the question what. So, those things are correct. Now, let's check and see about our spelling and our ending punctuation. If, as I'm reading, you notice something that is wrong, I want you to hit me with a skirt. You ready? Okay. So, once there were lots of can I even say frogs? Correct. That is wrong. So, what you're going to do when it's time for you to edit your own work, you're going to mark out the incorrect letter and write the correct one above it. We know that should be an O, spelling the word frogs. Once there were lots of frogs in a pond. So far, so good. The frogs, there's that again, okay. But y'all missed one. Y'all gotta watch. Look at this T. Look at this T. Directly before that T, there is a period, which is ending punctuation, which means this is the what? Beginning of a new sentence. So this T, mark it out, should be capital. So capital T, the frogs said to the gods, "We need a king." Anything missing here? Yes, remember when we talked about quotation marks? If you open them, you have to close them. Just like, let me show you in the book. You don't believe me? Remember, quotation marks tell us exactly what someone said. These are someone's exact words. So, back in the story, when the frog said, here, look, open quotation marks, "We wish we had a king. We need a king. We must have a king." Close quotation marks. We're going to open a quotation, you have to close a quotation. Unless the frog said all these words. And we know that's not true. All right, let's keep going. Yeah, I got it. You're catching on the capital T because it's the beginning of a new sentence. The gods sent a log to the frogs. Okay. Again, ending punctuation, which is a period, which means this is the beginning of a new sentence, capital T. All right, guys. Now, unfortunately, y'all don't have this particular draft. Mr. Mouse didn't share his draft with you in your cat book. I'm sorry. But what you're doing is you're paying attention, you're following along with me. and we're noticing and you're telling me what to change. So when we're done, you can go back to your own draft on your own piece of paper and make your own corrections and changes. Like if there are no periods in there, you might want to read that again. All right, the log sat and sat. The frogs, here we get that frogs again. Frogs said to the gods, this log is a bad king. Okay, so far so good. The gods sent a crane to the frogs. The crane went, okay, I heard you. Got it. What is this? That's the beginning of a new sentence. So what should be right here? A period. Go ahead and write a period. That's the end of that sentence. The gods sent a crane to the frogs. Full stop. The crane ran and ate the frogs. The frogs said, we want King Log back. King Crane is bad. All right, Mr. Mouse, I see you getting your rhythm. The gods were made. Does that make sense? That doesn't make sense. I don't think that's supposed to say made. What word do you think Mr. Mouse meant to write there? The gods were what? Mad. The gods were mad. How will we go from made to mad? We're going to take away the E. So since we're not replacing with another letter, we're going to X it out entirely. The gods were mad. They said, no, you keep King Crane. Now listen to how I read that. No, you keep King Crane. Did Mr. Mouse put the right ending punctuation here? The gods are mad. That is said with feeling, with excitement, with the not happy excitement, but there's and it should end with an exclamation point. Good job. No, you keep King Crane. The frogs were sad. Period. That's the end of the story. The end. All right, so yes, this is what it looks like to edit your draft. It's when you go through and check and make sure that you hit all the things. Do you have a title? Yes. Do you have a who? Yes. Do you have a where? Yes. Do you have a what? Yes. And it's okay if you messed up a little bit. That's the whole point of editing. This is not your finished product. Now you can actually fix yours based on what we did here. You can make adjustments and changes. You can take note and be able to be better, stronger writers for your fictional narrative, fiction, make-believe, narrative story. So fictional narrative is a make-believe story. A make-believe story. All right, so let me just ask a couple questions about this story. So if I said, what is the title? Having read this draft, you can tell me that the title of this story is King Log, and my fingers are in the way, and King Crane. Cool. What if I asked you, having read this draft, who was in this story? You could tell me frogs, gods, King Log, and King Crane. Excellent. What about if I asked you, where did the story take place? Okay, good. Mr. Mouse said a pond, and we also know the proper name of that pond is Frogland. Is it okay that he didn't put Frogland? Yeah, this is his draft. Does this match our draft from the other day? No, and that's okay. Because can we still answer all these questions? Do we still know what happened? Now, I want you to think quick. Can you tell me what happened in one sentence? Don't tell me all the little details. What was if you had to tell me this whole story in just one sentence, you would tell me that the frogs wanted a king. The frogs wanted a king. And last question about this particular story. We know that this is a fable because the title of our book is Fables. By it being a fable, there are a couple rules. One of those rules is that it must have a moral or a lesson, which is the message for the reader. What was the lesson of King Log and King Crane? Be careful what you wish for. The frogs got greedy, and it did not go well for them. All right, so now that we are fully aware of the steps to writing a fictional narrative, so yes, you're going to go back to your own, you're going to tweak it a little bit, and then that's going to be that for this. It is a new story today. Our new story today is called The Two Dogs. It is a fable, so there will be a moral. Make sure you can answer those questions about the story: who, what, where, and what's the name of the story? What's it like? The Two Dogs. Now, before I send you on your way, I do want to give you just a little background on this story so that you're more prepared for it. And that is, there's some words in the story I want you to be aware of. And that is plump, which means well-fed, not thin. Scraps, which are leftover pieces of food. Tame, we've done this before, and we said that that means not wild. And free. Now, sometimes we hear free as in something doesn't cost any money. In this instance, free is using one of its other meanings to say that able to do what one wants. So the opposite of tame would be free and be able to be wild. Be able to be wild. We know our fable rules. We know we need a moral. We know the stories should be short. And we know we'll probably see some personification. So animals and things doing people stuff. Okay, guys? And now, you know it's Thursday. And don't forget, we are looking for page numbers still. So again with the page numbers. So which dog gets food from the men? Well, somewhere in this story, you're going to find the answer. And within that story where you find the answer, there will also be a page number where you got that information from. I need that too, guys. Okay? Now, today is Thursday. You do not have a dedicated assignment for this, but I strongly suggest, and I say that you can use your grid of options. There's 9 different options you can pick from to practice your spelling words, because tomorrow is Friday and tomorrow is our very first spelling test. Yes, our very first spelling test tomorrow, using those words that are found in your cat book on page 1.1. This first list we're doing does review the vowel sounds taught in Unit 2, just as a way to help us get in the habit and the practice of taking spelling tests. I will say that that is all for our lesson today. And until I see you next time, you know I'm here if you have any questions. But if not,